balance, like you were saying, Amelia, of heritage and modern, and that fine line, that's what's getting to me right now. I'm honing in on which brands have got it, recently.
Yeah.
So.
Let me build on that, because I think that's a great insight. Something that comes to mind when you say that is Burberry. Burberry, is a heritage brand, right? As Nicole was saying. And over the decades and years, they had not invested in their brand. Their brand codes essentially had been like, especially the Burberry check, was co-opted by chav culture, which was really negatively associated with like hooligans in the UK and like, but part of what happened there is over the years, Burberry had licensed their brand they had like a ton of licenses out globally around the world, and the brand was being put out there, their codes, the brand was being eroded basically by licenses that were just going nuts. You'd have baseball caps, you'd have dog coats with it, like
it was being diluted. Like the staying power was
it was just totally being eroded. You're right. And it was having a negative impact on the business. By the time the 2000s came around, again, I can't remember the dates now with me, but there was a concerted effort to rein in the brand and renovate it and build the value for that brand again. So, and they came in, they cut their licenses short. They tried to like clean up the market and like get rid of all this stuff, because it just took a bad turn and it was destroying the brand. And what they did, and once Chris Bailey came in as well, like they completely dialed in the design system, their brand codes, the product. They renovated the portfolio and tightened the brand architecture, and it was an amazing turnaround. But they also, to Nicole's point, like they are a deep heritage brand. But I think they've had some recent missteps, in marketing for sure. But I think it's a wonderful case study for a heritage brand taking its code and refreshing them and making it new, right? And you want that tension, you want that contrast, right? You want heritage but modern. And even like in design and creativity, you want something familiar yet surprising, right? So there's always this tension. We even hear Amy at Tibby always talk about like, creative pragmatism. That's a tension. Like, she's applying that same practice, that we do in branding, in creativity, in design, is this tension between two things, because that makes it interesting for the brain.
Well, yes, the juxtaposition, that what makes a good story, because that's what our lives are about. All those conflicts together. It's not a perfect, clean, happy, lifestyle that we all live. We've got conflicts, we've got joys. So that's where the brands that can connect to that with their own, juxtaposition and their own conflicts, that's effective, I think, like you're saying.
And I think from a practical perspective, like going back to the business side of things too, is if you can manage to like move forward while looking back, you accumulate new customers without alienating your old customers. That's the real sweet spot, right? It's like you want everybody.
That is the sweet spot. And so like looping back to Tiffany, like some people think, what, you're throwing out your old customers. You know what? Their old customers weren't. Their older customers were still walking in the store and buying stuff because it was relevant to even younger people. So everybody loses their mind when there's a rebrand or a new campaign, but like LVMH is not stupid. Like they are excellent at renovating and updating heritage brands. Like they are magicians of that.
Yeah.
And I think if you're in like this creative style space anyway, like I think, at least for me, what's most interesting is what's new and evolving, right? I think it's easy to find things that are like in that heritage mold of like, if you want a classic shape, if you want like the highest quality, like that will always be available. But I think what is most interesting to people is that like vanguard of like, whether you don't like it, you hate it, you think it's terrible, like you're still talking about it, right? You're still interested in it because it's still grabbing attention because it's fresh or because it's divergent or subversive or whatever.
Yeah.
It is.
exactly.
Yeah, like what those couture shows are all about.
Yes, yes.
It's like putting the brand back in your eyesight
yes.
because it's to shock you again.